welcome back. Today I'm going to explain to you quiz chapter 3, moisture determination. So just like the previous quiz, this quiz have altogether 3 questions and I'm going to explain to you one by one, starting with question number 1. So question number 1, moisture content influence the taste, texture, weight, appearance and shelf life of foodstuff. Even a slight deviation from the defined standard can adversely impact the physical properties of a food material. So briefly explain on how moisture content can adversely impact the pharmaceutical product. So in pharmaceutical product, it's really important for us to make sure that it is being produced in accordance to the standard, because if not, the functionalities of the pharmaceutical product will be impacted. So to answer this question, you may say that high moisture content may lead to decomposition or the degradation of pharmaceutical product, because if you have too much water content, it means that these pharmaceutical product might be decomposed or might be degraded. So presence of excess water or too little water content also dominates the accuracy of the finished product. So it means that if for pharmaceutical product, usually they have certain concentration that they need to meet. So if you have excessive amount of water, it means that the concentration of that particular product will be deviated. So the functionality will be going lesser and lesser. Alright, that is how you should answer question number 1. So we are going to move on to question number 2. Concisely explain how does the concentration of liquid affect the refractive index. So the refractive index, so what you need to answer is that as the concentration of the dissolved solid in the liquid change, the refractive index will change. It means that if you have higher or lower concentration, the refractive index reading will differ. So, increasing the concentration of the dissolved solid will increase the amount of the refraction, while if you decrease the dissolved solid, or if you decrease the concentration of the solid, the amount of the refraction will decrease. So that is how the concentration affect the refractive index. So now we are going to explain question number 3. This one is quite lengthy. So the texture, taste, appearance, stability and the shelf life of your final product depend on the amount of water it contains. For example, the substance which are too dry could affect the consistency of the end product. Further, the rate of the microbial growth increase with the total content. In one experiment, a researcher gains gravimetric result as below. Okay. So altogether, we have 3 experiments. So this is the mass of pan, right? And then this is the mass of pan and the cookie sample. Then this is the mass of pan and the dried cookie sample. So determine the moisture content of the cookie sample. So how are you going to determine the moisture content? You need to know the weight of the wet sample, and then you need to know the weight of the dry sample, and then you need to divide it with the weight of the wet sample times 100%. That is the formula for moisture content. So for this question, we are going to explain on how the calculation should be done. So given to you is the mass of pan, pan with cookies and the pan with the dry cookies. So we are going to calculate the mass of the wet cookie first. So wet cookie. So altogether, you have 3 experiments. So I'm going to do one by one. So experiment number 1, what is the mass of the wet cookie? Okay, the wet cookie. So how are you going to find the mass of the wet cookies, right? So you need to minus the mass of the cookie sample minus the mass of the pan, because you just want the mass of the cookie, you don't want the mass of the pan. So just have to do the you need to subtract this to this. So the first experiment you should get 3.5898. The second one should be 3.5923. The third one should be 3.5911. Okay, this is the wet cookie. And then you need to find what is the mass of the dry cookie. Okay, for the dry cookie, the same. So mass of the pan, because you are going to use the same pan. This one is you put the pan and then you put you have the pan and then you put the sample. And the second one, the pan with the sample, you put in oven and then you will get the dry cookie, right? So for the dry cookie, you just have to minus the dry cookie with the mass of the pan. So same goes. The first experiment you get 0.6948. The second one you get 0.6958, and the third one you should get 0.6909. So this is the mass of the wet cookie and the dry cookie. Okay, fine. So you don't need this table anymore because it's more to the formula that you need to follow. So now what you need to calculate next is the average, because you have 3 different reading, right? So you need to have the average of wet cookie and average of dry cookie. Okay, so average of wet cookie, just have to do like the value for number 1 plus value for number 2 plus value for number 3. So this one divided into 3. So you should get 10.7732 divided by 3, and then the average for wet cookie is 3.5911 gram. Okay, this is the average for wet cookie. So we are going to go and find the average of the dry cookie. Same goes, all of this we're going to need to do the summation. So equivalent to 2.0815. How many? 1, 2, 3. 3 experiment, right? Divided by 3, you should get 0.6938 gram for the dry cookie. Alright, so now the question asks you to calculate the moisture content. So the moisture content is equivalent to weight of wet sample minus weight of dry sample divided by weight of wet sample times 100%. Alright, so this is the formula that you need to remember. But for the quiz, it's okay because it's an open book quiz. You can actually look at your notes to get this formula. So I hope you get the formula correct in the first place. And then you need to use the average value here. So you have the wet sample and also the dry sample, right? So weight of the wet sample minus the weight of the dry sample divided by the weight of the wet sample over here times 100%. So I'm just going to write it back. 3.5911 minus 0.6938 divided by 3.5911 times 100%. So you just have to press your calculator. You should get the moisture content equivalent to 80.6800%. So this is your final answer. Alright, that's about it. The 3 questions I asked you in this third quiz for moisture. So I hope you can understand this chapter. If you have any question, please do write on the comments section below. So thank you very much. I'll see you again next week, and please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Bye.